We're lucky to have a very special guest here today. We're here with, is it Dagny? Danny?
Yes. Hello, Ryan.
How's it going? So you are a general manager at Living Through Learning. So for over 35 years, Sonja Botha, the founder of Living Through Learning, has been dedicated to uplifting disadvantaged communities through, through literacy and education. What started as part of an international NGO Education Alive evolved into Living Through Learning in 2010, an independent South African-based initiative focused on developing foundational literacy in the early grades. With a proven track record of impact, over 150,000 learners have been uplifted and 700 educators have been trained. Living Through Learners continues to lead the way with its unique literacy methodology. In just the past 12 years, they've implemented a foundation phase curriculum that's improved literacy rates by up to 80%, and they're helping over 500 students access tertiary education or find work. Now, the organization is inviting the public and media to join a joyful moment of community spirit, where the Easter Drive at Valhalla Primary School on Wednesday, April 16th at 12 p.m., where learners in their program will be surprised by a life-size Easter bunny handing out Easter eggs. Here to tell us more about the work they do and what to expect at this heartwarming event is Dagny Baleson. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, I think you said it all. Thank you for the introduction.
So our first question today, for those of us who are unfamiliar, can you tell us a little bit more about Living Through Learning and how it started and just like what it means to you?
Sure. Yeah, it's an NPO dedicated to revitalizing literacy among learners and educators in disadvantaged communities, as you already mentioned. And yeah, it started 35 years ago with Sonja Botha pioneering it. It was Education Alive, which was an overseas version, and she brought it to South Africa in the context of our literacy crisis at the moment. And one of our key initiatives is the creation of a reading adventure rooms. And these are specialized classrooms transformed into magical literacy spaces in township schools. These immersive rooms are equipped with educational resources, curriculum, our own tried and tested curriculum, digital tools, a dedicated facilitator, and educators and facilitators use the RAR regularly to engage learners in interactive literacy activities, helping them to develop strong reading comprehension and writing proficiency for life.
So the founder, Sonja Botha, has a long history in the education sector. How has her vision really sort of shaped the work that you still do to this day?
Well, I think literacy is something that is very important to make an economy, a society, a country productive and be able to make them employable and have access to knowledge and lifelong learning. So I think that really is where Sonja has the idea, and it kind of stemmed from that we just want more people that want to learn and grow and develop, and making people literate gives them that kind of platform or foundation to do so.
So could you talk a little bit more about that actual literacy approach and especially your foundation phase curriculum? So like what makes that so unique and has allowed you to really like expand to so many learners and educators?
Sure. So I think the curriculum in a nutshell is an intervention to the WCED's curriculum. So we just support what the WCED is already doing. And there's kind of 3 barriers to learning. So the first is just clearing words and making sure learners understand like the actual definition of a subject of what they're learning, for example. And then the second barrier is like a gradient. So making sure that how we teach literacy is done by step-to-step process and not just jumping to, for example, letter X. in the alphabet. And then the third is physical objects, and that really ties into our reading adventure rooms. So we introduce interactive creative learning experiences in these underserved schools in the Western Cape. So we try to enhance engagement, critical thinking, build confidence, and most important, make it fun so that, you encourage and ensure full learner retention. So when the learners are actively participating in their learning through role play and discussion, songs, dance, movements, especially at this foundation phase level, they become more immersed in the subject matter. And that creativity fosters problem-solving skills and innovation. And these methods make learning more fun. It reduces the boredom and frustration while increasing motivation. So that's why LTL's pedagogy is so successful and gets such high results.
So let's talk a little bit more about this upcoming Easter drive. Like, what's happening on Wednesday at Valhalla Primary?
So we've rented a life-sized bunny outfit, which our facilitator will be wearing. And we've asked for all the foundation phase learners to come to the courtyard, and an educator will be reading a cute little Easter story with the bunny kind of acting it out, and then we'll be dishing out marshmallow Easter eggs.
Wow. That sounds incredible. I know that I would have loved that at that age. That's awesome. So could you talk about
make it fun?
Yeah, could you talk about why it's important for Living Through Learning to host events like this? Like, what do they mean to the learners?
I think it's very important because it promotes that culture of reading, and I think when you make these literacy events or in general these events for learners fun, it makes them want to immerse themselves in kind of that culture. So we do a lot of events around the year. I think our biggest one is International Literacy Day, which is celebrated on the 8th of September. But we also recently did International Book Giving Day, where we brought a live theatre performance to one of our schools in Grassy Park. And that was really special just to see learners who have never seen a live performance before and see the joy on their faces. And obviously they got books from the performance, so it was definitely an event that kind of had an impact, a longer lasting impact. And I think for this Easter event as well, just kind of getting to the historical kind of meaning of it and introducing the learners to it from a more educational point of view.
So if you're just tuning in now on the Morning Cruise, we're talking to Dagny Baleson, the General Manager of Living Through Learning, an organization that's making a huge impact on early childhood literacy across the Western Cape. She's here talking about the Easter Drive as well as the incredible work that the organization in general has been doing for decades. So more questions about this Easter Drive. What is it going to be, an open event to media and guests? Like, I know many people listening in the audience probably have young children of their own who would love to come see a giant Easter bunny reading stories.
I think we'd love to make it open, but it's obviously up to our partnered school, Valhalla Primary School. And just based on our kind of donors and the capacity we have, it's with that partnered school. But the media is obviously more than welcome to come capture the joy on their faces and spread the love.
So outside of the Easter celebration, what are some of the major projects or goals that Living Through Learning has been working on in 2025?
So as I mentioned before, we have our magical reading adventure rooms, and that's catered for grade R to grade 2 in our township schools. We're actually planning on opening up a school in Mitchell's Plain at West End Primary School in June, so that's very exciting. We also, in our classrooms, we have mobile book libraries which gives every child an access to books. We provide teachers with training and support. So about a month ago, Sonja Botha, the founder, came down to Cape Town and conducted a workshop with all the educators on our program. We, like I mentioned, with Mafrika and International Book Giving Day on the 14th of February, we did a storytelling and theatre performance with an ex-Issy Dingo actress, Nikki Jackman, and this was just to promote the culture of reading again. And yeah, just as many literacy events we can do throughout the year to make it fun for our learners.
Wow, that's a lot of incredible ideas that I just heard. But could you talk also more generally about, like, where do you see both the Easter Drive or generally the organization as a whole going in the next couple of years, maybe 5-10 years down the line? Like, what's the vision?
I think the vision is to procure more funding, and with that we can expand and go to every single school in the Western Cape. It's basically up to the township schools whether they have the capacity for us or not. So we approach a school, and if their educators and teachers are willing to work with us and they have a spare classroom available, then we are happy to go in there. So I think just expanding, doubling the schools, employing more teachers, and hopefully reaching maybe national standards in 10 years' time.
Well, so that leads us very well into my next question, which is how can individuals or organizations help support you in that mission, whether it be through donations, through partnerships, or volunteering? Like, where can we find you guys?
You can find us on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. And I think our call for action to big corporates is to donate billions of dollars. But for volunteers, parents, communities, I think donating books or educational resources to our partnered schools, which are heavily under-resourced. And to volunteer, you can get in touch with us on social media or For Good. And we definitely have opportunities to participate in our amazing events. We do need help with marketing and creating content because we don't really have a budget for that. And just, I think, if you're at home and you have kids, just trying to make reading a daily habit is something that's really at the core of what we do, and that would make a big difference for our learners in South Africa.
I know personally reading is a big part of my life, and it's been something that I've been doing since I was a very young child. And it is truly as important as I think you're saying it is.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah, I have a question.
Very few people are big readers these days, unfortunately.
It's really sad. It's really sad. But I'm glad that we now know that people like you are helping with that and just sort of bringing it back. Could you talk a little bit about your own personal experience with this organization? Like, why are you involved? Why, and like, what's your passion? What wakes you up in the morning every day and gets you like ready to work at Living Through Learning?
I think I see the bigger picture, and I see that we are doing this for learners in South Africa that really need it. And I think when you focus on education and empowering, foundation phase learners, you creating a more equal and peaceful world. So that's really, I think, my driving force to be here. And I think the quality of education in South Africa is ranked about 140th out of 144 countries. And 60% of our learners are not school ready when entering grade 1. And then again, when they get to grade 4, it's like 80% of them can't read with meaning. And I think the English remains quite a challenge, especially with, all of the languages, the first languages that our learners are speaking at home, and because the curriculum in South Africa, or the subject matter, is predominantly taught in English, it's very important that the learners can understand it fully to be able to advance themselves educationally and past that point. So, yeah, I think the challenges in the education sector in South Africa, with the lack of resources, overcrowded classrooms, and the lack of educators and lack of qualified educators, is something that, wakes me up and gets me to do this job every day, just for the learners.
Yeah, like that's just, it is such a big problem and such an important one. And so again, it's really nice to hear people making a significant impact like you guys are. Is there any final words you have to say, a call to action or something that you want to leave our listeners today with, about whether it be the Easter Drive or living through learning in general, or just the importance of the problem that we're facing in young child literacy?
Yeah, I think it's just to encourage everyone to be open to learning and growing, and and just remember the importance of education and everything for an early child developer. This is really important to make a way more equal and peaceful society, and living through learning is definitely striving towards that. So if you're interested in helping us or getting into contact with us, please reach out on social media, or you can follow our website at livingthroughlearning.org.za. But thank you so much, Ryan, for having us on the show this morning.
Do you have the social medias available, the handles?
Yeah, sure. It's just Living Through Learning on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn.
Okay, Living Through Learning on every major social media platform. Make sure to follow them. Make sure to come support their Easter Drive at Valhalla Primary. That is on April 16th at noon, if I'm not wrong.
That's correct. And then on Thursday, we are going to all the other partnered schools, but the timing will be different, so we didn't put that out to the media. But all of our schools are getting love this Easter.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you again so much for coming in. Thank you for talking about this. And we'd love to have you back on the show at some point soon.
Oh, thank you so much, Ryan. Have a beautiful day further.
You as well. Bye.
Bye.